Couple of seconds. All right, we are live here on Rapzilla.com for yet another live hangout with a special artist. This time we got a special guest. This is first time on the live Rapzilla chat, live hangout, and this is an appropriate time for it to be his first time because this brother has got some big things in the works, big things going on, and apparently the brothers at Reflection Music Group thought so too, so they just signed him to a record deal. He's part of the roster. We talking about Deraj, Florida native, or Florida resident, I should say. Deraj, what up, brother?
What's up, y'all?
Deraj is in the building, everybody. Listen, we want you guys to put your live questions up on Rapzilla.com on the story link, and you can also do it on YouTube as well. And we want to take a bunch of your live questions today, bunch of them. Deraj is just eager and ready just to say, answer whatever you guys ask. He told me he's just willing to be 100% honest tonight. So whatever you ask about Derek Minor or Cannon or whoever, he's just gonna take care of it for you.
I don't know if I can share all that. I might not be on a label anymore. No.
Exactly. He's like, I still want to be on a label when this is all over. Okay?
I'm excited.
Okay, man. Speaking of a label, man, you just signed. Congratulations from the top. Congratulations. And man, did you expect to be here? Was this something that was in the long-term plan?
You know, funny, it wasn't at all. I guess I can share maybe a little bit of my background. Is that cool?
Sure, absolutely. Fly in.
Okay, cool. Well, let's see. I'm a Florida resident. Moved down here to Florida late '07, specifically for school. But before I came down here, I was in Richmond, Virginia. And I guess that's kind of the place where I really started to get involved with music a little bit more heavily. But I'm originally not even from Virginia as well. Before I lived in Virginia, I was in Prince George's County, Maryland. I moved there when I was about 16. And that's really where I started to attend church a little bit more frequently and where I met the Lord. But in that time frame as well, my passion, I guess, for rap and hip hop kind of started to kindle a little bit, and I was able to start performing. Started out in my youth group, and that just kind of progressed to doing it wherever we were invited. I was running with a team of some individuals that were there back home in Virginia. It was called Influential Music at the time, and under there, I really started to get a passion and use my gifts, just encourage in whatever way I could. And yeah, man, I had no ambition, no real goal to pursue artistry. But it wasn't until I guess I moved down here to Florida where I really started to, I guess, see the potential, in my gifts and my craft and my artistry, and just started to get a little bit more traction, and just kind of went from there. But yeah, I'll stop there. I don't know.
Nah, that's perfect, man. Absolutely. Like, so if I can ask, man, what was your first real encounter with hip hop, and then what was your first encounter with hip hop that glorified God? Like, when did it become a rubric that, okay, now I can actually use what God has given me to glorify Him in a hip hop way, I guess you could say?
Right. Well, I wrote my first rap ever when I was like 9 years old.
Tell me you remember it, man. Tell me you remember.
I remember it, but I cannot recite that genre. Because oddly enough, it was very violent. Like I don't know.
You was killing demons, huh? You was killing demons, right?
Nah, I was probably inviting demons or something. I don't know. No, man, because growing up, a lot of the rap that I was used to was very violent and vulgar and that kind of stuff. I actually got in trouble one time. I think I was in elementary school. I was in class and I was writing a rap. My teacher kept telling me to put it away. We were watching a video or something like that, and I just kept writing. And she came over and wanted to see what I was writing. I balled it up real quick, and she took it from me and opened it up and found it and started reading. I had all these cuss words and stuff in it, and got in trouble after that. But obviously, but anyway. I wrote my first rap when I was 9. I used to kind of play around with it from there. Really got inspired by my oldest brother. He had a big kind of team of cats he was rolling with at the time, and typical young brother, wanted to be like his older brother, kind of wanted to follow in the footsteps. But I guess when I got like maybe around 16, 17, it was really my own. And that's actually around the time where I started to, where I met the Lord. And I think I did my first, I guess, Christian rap when I was 16 at an open mic that they had. From there, that's where it just kind of kept going and started making beats, learning how to make beats and making beats for other individuals, for myself and that kind of deal. But,
yeah. So was your impression of Christian rap immediately that it was corny, or were you just, man, I don't know any other Christian artists, or I don't know anybody else who's doing this, let me just hop in, or on a macro level, did you look at it and say, man, this is kind of a whack genre in general, or did you say this is the greatest thing, or were you kind of oblivious?
I think I was more like, this is the greatest thing, like now that I think about it, because I was so, I don't know, I was so used to, just mainstream hip-hop in general, and it was a period of time where, I kind of weaned off of that because it just wasn't helpful for me. But, when I really started getting introduced, I think it was more like cross movement, and I think like Tunnel Rats, I got introduced to them, KJ, Soldiers, like those, I think were the people I kind of got introduced to first. But I loved it when I first heard it. I was like, I could kind of remember, like, I was real involved and loved worship music, like, as I was growing and stuff. But I used to remember, like, man, I wish I could worship the rap music, like, because I just used to love it so much. But anyway, yeah. So no, I didn't have that kind of outlook.
Has your opinion changed at all?
No, I mean, I don't think it's really changed. I mean, I do see artists, within the Christian circle who, maybe not as strong in their craft as they could be. But I mean, real talk, you find that on both sides. You know what I mean? Like, there's cats who don't really take the time to invest in their artistry, who aren't doing it, for God in any way, just like it is. So on that front, it's just like sometimes I get it, and it is, but I get it, and I think there is kind of sometimes a tendency, for us to kind of, pat people on the back when it's just like, I didn't really enjoy your rap, you know what I mean? Right. But you know what I mean. But I get it and why people feel that way sometimes. But yeah, but there are some dope artists out there that I think, I mean, Christian or not, like they just run, parallel. There's no real distinction. It's just, who's out there more.
Absolutely. Well, if you're just tuning in, guys, Deraj is already going in. We're already asking him the tough questions. Nah, we haven't asked him the tough questions yet. Telling we're gonna ask him about the RMG roster, man. We're gonna ask him how he fits in the five fantastic five of the RMG now. But yeah, we want you to leave all your questions. Want you to leave anything you want to know about Deraj. This is his first hangout with Rapzilla, so we want to get him all the questions that you have. We want to answer as many as we possibly can. And the number one that we're gonna see probably, brother, is what's the spiritual significance and meaning of the name Deraj? So can you give us a theological exposition?
Exactly. Nah, man. Deraj is actually my first name, which is Jared, spelled backwards, and it's symbolic of how the Lord turned my life around. So that's why I go by Deraj.
Dope. So you didn't feel any pressure to create an acrostic that or an acronym that turned into some big spiritual movement?
Yeah, disciple, emerging, radical, authentic. Jesus.
For Jesus.
That is silent. Yeah, nah.
Dope. Okay, so as you grew in your artistry, you started rapping, met the Lord and started rapping kind of around the same time. Grew in your artistry, started developing. When did you decide this is something I definitely want to do, and this is what I want to do? I want to put out albums. I want to be an artist. Right. Like, because you're artistic in general. We're going to get into that a little bit later. When did you decide that music was something you wanted to seriously pursue?
It probably wasn't until like a year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe. I don't think it was until I really started to mature just in myself, because coming down here, to Florida, one, I moved down here by myself, and so I had a lot of time to really deal with me. I had a lot of time to meet new people, have a lot of new experiences, um, and even the church that I'm even currently attending, the individuals there really sold a lot into me. It's kind of a situation too where it's almost like I was the last to kind of see the potential in me. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if and people might begin to see it, but in my artistry, I kind of have a big lean on just being yourself, knowing who you are, and not being afraid to be that. And Lord really just kind of walked me through a process of getting to know who I was, and getting to see the value that was within me, and not being afraid to to move forward in this direction when I felt like there were a lot of doors opening, and then I almost kind of started to gain a vision. You know what I mean? Like, Lord, this is something that you have for me. I don't want to be afraid to walk into it, and I don't want to feel like I have to play this small role. As far as if you're calling me to something more than where I am right now, I don't want to walk away from that. It's almost kind of like the analogy, like if I'm a particular tool, like you can say a hammer or something like that. It's like I'm only going to be most effective if I'm going to just submit to being that hammer. You know what I mean? I try to be something else, and I'm really not going to be fulfilled and really working out, or living my life, my purpose to the best capacity that I can. You know what I mean? And so I think that's when it really started just click. It was like, you know what? I think this is possible, and I want to do it. It's like it's exciting to me now.
Yeah, absolutely. So give people kind of a rundown of your discography, man. Like, what projects have you put out? I know a lot of people heard you flip a couple of tracks from Rehab or something like that. Like, that's where I first heard you, was you flipped a track from Rehab, I believe it was, Lecrae. And I was like, who's this Deraj guy? Like, it's kind of dope. I think it was either Check In or Killer, or one of the two. I was like, man, this kind of, I was like, okay, this kind of dope. Like, but I didn't know you, and then I tried to Google your name, and it was like, you didn't exist. I was like, okay, are you a pseudonym? Or are you just somebody else? Like, what's going on here? So give people a rundown of your discography and what you've been doing musically since you started.
For sure. I think I don't really have one solo project that I've put out and released on iTunes in 2009. It's called Honesty of the Heart, and real just transparent project. If you listen to it, you'll kind of hear just my heart, really. And that was really, that was a time where I was learning myself, kind of growing, and people were seeing it. Or I just kind of put it on a record for people to see. And excuse me. So yeah, that was 2009, and I think it was 2011. I did a kind of spontaneous, I guess you could call it a mixtape. It really wasn't. It was just almost like a collage of just some random experimental tracks I was doing. Like I remixed like a Brooke Fraser track and one of Lecrae's tracks and a Skillet track and a Paramore track. It was just like, it was almost like a lyrical exercise. Like I was just stretching myself and trying to see what could I do on this type of music and stuff like that. So it wasn't anything really serious. It was just something to kind of put out there. It was creative, and just wanted to see if it could maybe inspire some people to think outside of the box on some stuff. I think also whenever the Trip League contest was that Rapzilla did, I participated in that and got an honorable mention for my remix that I did. And then also, some of my features on with Cannon on his Mad Haven and Derek Miner's Minerville, Jacob Washington on his Pocketless Souls, and I think it was the Love EP that he had. I can't remember which one. He did the Faith, Hope, and Love one. I can't remember which one I'm on. But I'm on there with him. So yeah, I think that's some of my catalog right now. I don't know if I'm missing anything.
So you were talking a little bit earlier about just the whole, you put out a whole bunch of experimental tracks, and your sound is even different. Your sound is unique. So like with that in mind, like what is that your lane? Do you feel like that's what you're called to do? Like you're called to be a unique, I mean, even on your website, it lists you as like an alternative hip hop artist.
Yeah.
You know, like explain that uniqueness that you bring and what your lane is. Because I think we have a lot of people who do the trap, you know, urban trap, Midwest type vibe. We
Right.
have, you know, lyrical cats, but we don't have like very many experimental guys.
Right.
Or guys who are like really popular and experimental at the same time, still staying true and not
Right.
having to fall in one box or another. So can you talk about just your unique lane and how you run in that?
For sure. Um, you know, and it's funny, man, because even coming up, I wasn't as eclectic, I guess, as I am now, at least to what I feel like that I'm eclectic or whatever. But I grew up, you know, with a more kind of East Coast lean. So you know, I listen to, you know, Jay-Z and like Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, Talib, type lane of hip hop and stuff like that. I don't think I really started to expand my sound until until after I became a Christian, and then maybe around like 17, 18, I really started to experiment with some rock influence stuff, and I started to kind of sing. Like I started to sing on tracks, and I think a lot of that started to come from really just personal time with the Lord and worship and stuff like that. I think that's where most of that was birthed from. But I just started to see that, you know, people were really kind of digging it, and that just kind of got me liberated to just try more stuff. And so now I can kind of infuse these different sounds and genres, and it's so weird because I mean, the top like response I get from my music is like it's just so different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just me. Like you can't really compare me to anybody, which I really appreciate, and I like too, because I've been at shows sometimes, and afterwards people will come up to me and it's like I don't like rap, I don't like hip hop, but I really like your stuff. And
Right.
so kind of like a big compliment for me. So I just love that. I guess that kind of is my lane. I like to experiment. I like to try different things. I like to be creative. Kind of my slogan. Because I think it's necessary. It's needed. You know what I mean? Like I like to just kind of stand as an example for people to know that it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to try different things
And if I can ask just to follow up on that, not to cut you off, but I
yeah.
wanted to really kind of highlight what you're saying, that creativity, that be yourself. Where does that come from? Like, is that something that just came from your life experience? Is that something that's a deeper rooted foundational truth that you believe in? Like
Yeah.
explain to the people, like, where does that uniqueness and creativity arise from and kind of just flow from?
Right. I mean, ultimately, at the this deepest foundation, I think it's God. But I think I guess maybe above that is just the desire to not feel like not to put myself back in the bondage that I used to be, because it's been a real journey for me to come out of a lot of mindsets, to come out of a lot of just people pleasing and feeling the need to appease what what the status quo is or what's expected of me and stuff like that. Whether it's perceived, it's like a reality in my mind, or whether it's truly coming at me, because we have stuff that we think is real, but it's really not. You know what I mean? So I think as far as just that desire to be different, to be unique, to be creative, it's just all this underlying desire just to be liberated. And I just desire to see that through just people in general, like especially in the creative field, because I follow a lot of different blogs and different artists and stuff like that, and it's not all Christian stuff, but I just appreciate the level of authenticity and creativity that just comes from people. You know what I mean? And I love just to see that continue to flourish.
Dope, awesome. Well, yeah, if you're just tuning in, we're here with the man Deraj. We're just chilling it, kicking it. He's giving us some insight into his background, making funny faces, creative stuff. We're gonna get him to do some creative stuff later too, man. We're gonna get him to freestyle or do something on here, man. He's gonna dance or something, man. We gonna get you to do something here tonight, Rapzilla. It's gonna be something. We're gonna figure out what it is.
Let's do it.
But yeah, let's talk about also before I forget. Leave your live comments, man. Leave your questions
Yes.
on the Rapzilla and also on YouTube as well. We're gonna take your questions, as many as we possibly can to get to. And let's talk about your relationship with RMG. Like, how did that flow? Interestingly enough, around the same time that I first heard about you, Pro at the time, he was Pro at the time. He
Mm-hmm.
started putting out little stuff about you here and there. Like
Right.
he would just put a Facebook post, or he'd put out a tweet, or he'd retweet something that you did. And I said, that's interesting. And you know, me just always curious as to why someone does what they, you know, why are you doing what you're doing? I'm like, man, maybe one day they'll collab. Maybe one day they'll be on the same label or whatever it may be.
Right.
How did that relationship arise and lead to you getting signed to RMG?
It's funny, man. It was very happenstance. I guess it was God for real. One of my boys back home in Virginia, shout out to Andrew, he retweeted a tweet that Derek had put out, and they were looking for a graphic designer just for some of the RMG stuff they had going on. And he sent it over to me, and I just replied, just sent over my portfolio, and that was really it. And as they were looking through, I guess just the list of people that sent their stuff over, they kind of stopped their minds. It was like, we love what you're doing, and wanted to start using me for for their artwork. And I think I designed the first thing I designed was Canon's Blind World T-shirt design or whatever, and I started with some banners and stuff like that, and then slowly but surely I got a chance to work on the Welcome to the Family artwork. And then from there, it was just like, they were like, we want to lock you in, you know what I mean, to keep doing our artwork. And, I'm like, sure, man, like, this is awesome, just to have the opportunity to work with, a team and a label like this, and also to kind of give my artwork a little bit more legs and, get it in front of more people and stuff was awesome. So I wasn't, definitely opposed to it in any kind of way. But as far as me just signing and stuff like that, that wasn't even something that happened from the get-go. It was almost like they found out that I did music later on.
Were you kind of thinking, if you're being honest, were you kind of thinking in the back of your head, man, this could work. Like, this could end up being more than just graphics.
Right.
Let's make this music happen.
Initially, no, I wasn't like that. It was purely just to, do artwork, because I was already working on some stuff, and I was just like, man, I'm just so focused on what I got going on. I'm gonna just keep writing and keep, putting out a project and stuff. And actually, the project that I have coming out, I guess we'll probably talk about later. I had already been working on, in that time frame, and so it just kind of, made sense that at the end of all of it, like. That's what's coming out now is the project I was working on when I was first talking with them. But I remember some people had asked me maybe after I started getting a little, deeper into, me and RMG, the RMG relationship. If they came at you and wanted to sign you, would you sign or whatever? I was like, yeah, I guess maybe. It's like it was kind of that one. It was one of those things. I wasn't overly ambitious at that point, but. The thoughts did kind of come in, like, what if this opportunity does present itself? How would I respond and stuff? But so we all that.
When you started talking about RMG, was this around the time where you were like, this is what I want to do? I want to do music. Like, I want to do this seriously. And what kind of led to that shift?
Yeah, I think it might have been around that time. Like, I think I might have just been on that cusp of, I think I want to do this. Like pursue music in a greater way. But I think the shift was just really just time. Just continuing to put out music and doing shows and getting encouragement and just through prayer and that kind of stuff. I think it was just pieces just coming together and just kind of built me up to be like, yeah, this is a good look. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you feel like you differ from the other guys on the team? Obviously, you're naturally unique and creative, but what do you add? Like, and I think not setting you up to be a stumbling block or anything to yourself. I say, what are you bringing to the table? But in reality, like, what do you add? Like, what do you feel like? What do you feel like with the RMG philosophy that makes this a good fit? Like, what makes this right for you?
I think it's a few things. One, I'm real big on just relationships. As far as like one-on-one, like really being able to connect with somebody. And when I was getting to know Doc a lot more, Doc Watson's calling her RMG, it truly felt like a kind of like a family situation. Like I really did feel embraced into what they were doing, and the umbrella slogan over RMG, the whole "Welcome to the Family," is very applicable to just how they operate. I mean, it's a lot of camaraderie. It's kind of like people will give their last for you, and so being able to, I feel like I meshed in that sense, and also just my natural giftings, as far as my creative eye, visually and stuff like that. I think it adds a lot to the RMG brand, and that's something that we've, since I've been there and been walking into more of a, kind of leadership role at RMG as far as the visual art is concerned. That's been one of those things that we've been trying to build up a bit more, the visual presence, and because there is a contrast as far as when you kind of see when I started to kind of get involved with the RMG situation and stuff like that. It's just my thumbprint is kind of on some of the artwork that's come out, but I do have a bit of a it's just my it's just what I do. It's like I have a background. When I came down here, I graduated from Full Sail University. I have a background in digital arts and design, and so that's my thing. So that's one of the things that I add to, I believe, to the RMG situation. And then also, we all as label mates challenge each other creatively and as artists and musicians and stuff like that, because I mean all those guys, like I'm able to learn something from them. Each time I hear them do anything on a track, even like Cannon especially, because Cannon is he's a great lyricist. He's a awesome producer, which I didn't know he produced until I actually got on it. I started hearing some of his stuff. I was like, whoa. And so yeah, he actually has a feature on this EP that I have, and he's making me kind of go back and revise the beat that I made. Like, 'cause he just did all this extra stuff to it. I'm like, dude, come on, man. It's good, because like that's one of them things that really just it sharpens you and it makes you get on your best game. Yeah, all them guys, man, they're really unique in their own way, and they run their lanes strong, and we can all pull from each other, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. Again, if you're just tuning in, we're getting in with Deraj. We're talking about RMG, and we talk about his relationship with them, just his whole upbringing, how he got introduced to music and CHH. But we want to hear what you guys have to ask him. So if you'll leave your comments at YouTube and also on Rapzilla as well, or tweet them to us. We're about to get into some future stuff with Deraj here. Let's talk about the No Fear promo that came out today, man.
I have no. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Give us a little sampler, man. Yo, this joint was crazy. Like the video, everything, the visual art, the joint is crazy.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
It is like, and I think it caught me way off guard when I saw it this morning. I was like, whoa, what's going on? Like,
good.
I was like, how did this work? How did this happen? So obviously the message is no fear. But explain the project. What's the project going to be like, and what's the point of the promo from a visual perspective?
Okay, well, I'll talk about No Fear and in the promo that we put out. No Fear was a song that song is actually almost like a year and some change old. Like I've been sitting on it for a while, and I always kind of been waiting for the right time to release it. And so I'm glad I kind of waited, because I think it's a good way to do it. But it's become like almost a personal anthem for me, because as I was talking about earlier, just the dealing with identity stuff, knowing who you are, and being liberated and not being afraid to, really just be yourself. The concept that I wanted to push for the promo, I wanted to communicate that and kind of like tell a story. It starts off with, me kind of in this desert landscape. Like I wanted to start in the middle of almost like the journey, in a sense. So it's like I kind of wake up and I'm in this like desertous landscape or whatever, and it's look like I'm very weary, I'm tired, you know, from the journey, but I kind of end up rising from off the ground and making this pilgrimage towards this mountain, you know, off in the distance, and I kind of come to a point, you know, after I climb this mountain, you know, I get over this, you know, this hurdle, whatever, and I'm at the, you know, the pinnacle of it, and I look out and I see the place that I'm really looking to go. It almost seems impossible to go to, and so I have a choice right then and there to either, you know, almost kind of throw my hands up and, you know, give up, or I can really face my fears and pursue it, not knowing what it's really going to look like, because, you know, I'm on the edge of a, you know, I don't know who's seen the video and who hasn't, but at the end of the video, I'm on the top of this mountain, and I just beeline that joint, you know what I mean, off the mountain, and I had the, actually I had the end of the video in mind before the beginning, so I was like, I know I want to be ascending off of this mountain, I just want that joint to cut. And that's really symbolic of when we do take those steps, like, you know, just in life, we take steps towards just something, you know, we take these steps of faith, and we don't actually know what the end result is ultimately going to look like. But the biggest thing I wanted to communicate was just that initial step, you know what I mean, like just taking the step towards something, not knowing, you know, exactly what it's going to look like at the end, but not being afraid to move, because I think so often we're afraid to just take steps to what we really are passionate to do, and so that's like the whole concept for the promo video. I wanted to communicate that visually, and also I just wanted something that when you saw it, it just really like blew you away, like, yo.
Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. Yeah, it was. I was like, what in the world? Like, and it really made me go back and watch it a few more times just to kind of get, you know.
And I wanted to do that because you'll probably end up catching some stuff that I did in there that you might not have the first time around. But it was fun, man. It was really fun to do. I had you know, some of my Orlando people down here. Shout out to Unashamed Photography and Shots with Men. They came through and kind of were behind the cameras where I couldn't be. You know, I had a vision, I was directing, but they were actually physically doing the shooting for me. And, you know, took all the footage, the performance shots, and edited. It took about a month to edit everything and get it all finalized and out the door. But it was a personal project for me, too. Like, I just wanted to do this because I do so much client-based work. I don't always get a chance to just do something that's just for me, you know what I mean? And it's almost kind of like killing two birds with one stone, you know what I mean? I could do something personal for me, but it also serves as a good, you know, launching piece, you know, for this whole RMG signing and stuff. So.
Right. Let me ask you a follow-up question. We'll get to the project in a second, but let me ask you a divergent question since we're talking about visual art here. What do you think about music videos in Christian hip hop, like, and in general in music? And then also, what is the importance of artists having music videos? Like, what's the importance of them, like, actually doing a music video, visually putting that out? Maybe some artists don't see the importance or necessity of that. Can you talk about both of those things, like just the state of videos that you see in Christian hip hop, or if there's like a dope video that you've seen, is like, man, that really inspired me, and then also the necessity of visual art?
Right. Well, as far as, I guess, the state of music videos that I've seen so far, I've seen some good ones and I've seen some bad ones. Oh, you want to wait for a second? I've seen some good ones and I've seen some bad ones, but I think ultimately it's been decent. I don't think I'm very, I don't want to say hard to please, but sometimes, like, I'm just looking for that next level kind of out of the box thing. So it's, and that's
why I asked you, because I really want to get it from your perspective. You know, as an artist, like, do you really respect a lot of the videos that we put out, or can we take a major step up? And what do we need to do to take that step? Right.
You know, that's kind of hard to say, because I think with the resources that people have, they do a good job. Especially with, you know, like these DSLRs and stuff like that are very much more affordable now, and so a lot of people are able to, you know, do, you know, pretty decent quality videos with some decent editing and stuff like that. So I don't knock people for what they do, because I think, and it's almost kind of segue into the other question, I think having something is almost kind of better than not, because, like, nowadays it's good to have and this is something I even learned from Derek. He was just sharing, like, it's good to have a visual, along with your single, because it just gives it a lot more legs, especially with, YouTube and Instagram. Like, we're so short attention span. Like, we kind of want something that's going to, grab us. And so I think it's good to have a music video, and I've seen some tasteful stuff out there, but again, I do have, like, I keep a high standard even for myself. Like, I'm always trying to outdo myself, as a creative, and so I'm always it's almost like my standard. Sometimes I'm looking towards, like, what cinema does. You know what I mean? It's like, movies and stuff out there. Like, if I can aspire towards that, it would be dope. And I'm not there yet, but that's always, like, that's what I always see is kind of like something to shoot for. But I think we have a good pool of stuff that that's been created out there. But there's always room for improvement, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, again, if you're just tuning in, we're talking with Deraj. You guys are asking some really, really good questions on YouTube. I'm really ready to get into those. But before we do,
I feel like I'm setting a really high standard for myself saying all this stuff. Like, I can't come out with nothing whack. Like,
that's what we want. That's what we want.
Yeah, man.
But that's good, though. Like, I think that's something, and we're going to talk about that in a second. I'll save that for a little bit later, as I want to ask you a standard question as well. Right. You kind of touched on it a little bit there. But let's kind of wrap up talking about this project that's coming out.
Yes.
When can we expect it? Like, what are we going to expect when we get this project? Right. What should we expect? And what are you working on? What's your ideas?
For sure. Well, the project is it's an EP. It's called Mirrors and Medicine. Been working on it for a while. We're looking for it to be released, late January, early February is a goal. But it's right now a 6-track EP, and we're still kind of finalizing some things. So some of this stuff may change, but right now, 6-track, Lord, 6-track EP. And I guess I can get into the concept of the project, and even what it sounds like sonically. Mirrors and Medicine, it's a slogan behind it called Mirrors to Reveal, Medicine to Heal, and it's really just I guess communicating how in the face of mirrors, mirrors really just show us, what the reality is of ourselves. You know what I mean? And I'm taking that even broader to showing us just the reality of whatever situations you may be in. I think sometimes when we look in the mirror, what we're seeing, like, sometimes the good we see, we deem it as bad, and sometimes the bad we see, we deem it as good. But when we're really looking at it for what it is, we get to see it for what it is. And so the mirrors is just that revelation of whatever it is we're seeing, whether it's a healthy perspective, whether it's an unhealthy perspective. It's showing us the reality of it. And medicine is really just, in a sense, like the remedy to either, correct whatever perspectives we have based on what we're seeing. So it's almost kind of like the truth of what we're seeing. So Mirrors and Medicine is that whole idea. And sonically, I don't know if, hopefully that makes sense, but sonically it's kind of like what we were talking about. It's different. It runs a few different lanes, I think. I got some, kind of heavier East Coast stuff, almost kind of like what No Fear was. I have some kind of alternative, almost indie rock kind of stuff. Some Southern production. Experimental, I don't know. It kind of runs a gamut. I think it's a good introduction to my artistry and just what I can do, because I'm very versatile. I like to kind of challenge myself to be able to write to whatever is put in front of me. And it's funny because I remember, like, when for the Respect That feature, and Derek was he shot me over the track, and he was just telling me, it's like, don't feel like you gotta be something you're not. Do you be yourself. And that's why I got the whole line in there. You never seen rappers and Photoshop mixed together. It's like, I'm giving people a whole picture of who I am. You know what I mean? And even that style of production is not typically what I ride over, but I wanted to showcase that I can. You know what I mean? If if I need to. And my project it's kind of like that, but I think it'll show a more well-rounded picture of my artistry.
Yeah, definitely. Are you going to be doing a lot of production on it?
Yeah, I did. I think I produced 2 on there, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, with one feature with Canon I produced, and another one I did. It's a kind of indie alternative rock kind of sounding song, and I got some production from Eons D out there in Alabama, and Dirty Rice helped with some production on there as well. What else is on there? I'm drawing a blank right now, but if it comes back, I'll just yell it out randomly while you're talking.
That's a good mix, though. Good mix. It's good
Yeah.
jokes right there.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's get into some of these fan questions, man. You ready? You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready, man.
Okay, this is a good one to kind of kick us off. Corey Penn, and shout out to Corey Penn. What's up, brother? He says, describe your music with one word. And let me add something to this. You can't use unique. You can't use creative. You can't use inventive. And you can't use me. Okay? So those are 4 words you can't use. What is your one word that you would describe your music? Just in one word, and you can't use, I forgot which words I said, unique, inventive, creative, and me.
Right. One word, gosh, it sounds cliche. I'm going to say authentic.
Man, I should have added that one, man.
All right. Maybe, all right, let me try to think of another one. I mean, it's funny because I've asked that question before, like if people could describe me, and I've gotten eclectic before. You know, it's just kind of eclectic music. I don't have any better adjectives than that.
Good,
but,
good. Okay, we'll keep going. We'll keep going. AKA Preface on Rapzilla says, "Who was your biggest influence in becoming an artist?" Probably one you get a lot.
In becoming an artist, wow. I think that'd been easier to answer if it was like who is kind of influential coming up. I don't know. I don't know that there was an artist that really influenced me to like want to pursue, you know, doing what I do. As far as like, you know, being, you know, trying to do this full time and that kind of stuff, which I'm not full time yet, but I'm working towards that. I don't know that I have somebody that really was that example for me, but it's just, I guess, as far as my artistry, I was real big on like Kanye West coming up, and Outkast. Like those were like really influential for me, but I can't think of anybody at the moment that just really was like, yo, they're doing it, I want to do it, like they're doing it. I mean, obviously, like, you know, there were people, you know, like The Truth and like Lecrae, like these cats who were really front running, you know, for it, like all like sold into me as far as just, you know, personally, artistry wise. So I guess, you know, that could probably answer the question to a degree, but nobody, I feel like, where's that aha moment, like that's who I wanted to do it like.
What do you think about Kanye now? I heard you mention Kanye. What do you think about Kanye now?
Kanye now, man, I always respect Kanye and his artistry. Like he's very creative, very unique. I don't share the same, you know, kind of moral stances he takes on some stuff. You know, he's very, you know, very outspoken as far as, you know, just I mean, just with, you know, even how he promotes himself, how he brands himself and stuff like that. So there's things about Kanye I can definitely appreciate. There's other things where, you know, kind of do without. But so yeah, that's kind of where it is now.
Okay, cool. Let's get into this one. Arthur Mensa on YouTube asked a really good question. What is your definition of a man?
My definition of a man, wow. I think someone who's really able just to kind of own up, you know, to who they are, and own up to the decisions that they make, and not make excuses. I think for that, I know for me, like as I've grown and matured, I've learned that it's not helpful for me try to pretend, either that I'm in the right all the time, or I got all stuff together, or what have you. It's like I've learned how to, really just be a man of my word. Whether I'm wrong, whether I'm, whatever place I find myself, I have to learn how to choose to be integral, choose to be as honest as I can be. Yeah, and I guess remain humble within all of that as well. But yeah.
Yeah, he also asked a follow-up question here. He says, how did you deal with your struggles, teenage struggles in general? Like, how did you deal with, just coming into who you are and your identity, and even creating that now, understanding who God has created you to be even now?
Right. I think a lot of, my growth into who I am today has been heavily due to just being, just staying connected to good people, like good, encouraging, honest, trustworthy people, to help me just understand, the things that we go through in life. Because there's some stuff that, I walk through that's just unfamiliar territory for me. And so I get the opportunity to kind of ask questions, be transparent about where I am, and receive, wisdom on how to move forward from there, stuff like that. So I think, going through my teenage years, there was a lot of just, being prayerful, committing to, just my studies and stuff like that, but also just surrounding myself with people who, I almost kind of aspire to be like, in a sense. You know what I mean? It's like I saw a level of maturity. I saw a level of, just honesty and just character that was proven, and it kind of helped me to know, or helped me to kind of gauge a little bit what a man looked like to be, what it looked like to be a faithful person. So yeah, I guess that's been a big help for me. Some of those anchors, in my life that just really poured into me. I actually have a song on my first project, Honesty to Heart. It's called Moon in the Sky, and it's just kind of a tribute to those leaders that have been in my life in the darkest moments. They're like the moon in the sky. It's like, when I'm looking for, some kind of hope, some kind of light, they're there. They're there. So.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah. Let me ask you this, man, and I don't know. I didn't find any information biographically about this, but are you single, married? What's your relationship status, man?
That's funny. Is that a question? Did somebody ask that, or is that your question?
Oh no, I'm just curious, man. I'm not gonna put anybody out,
No, I do have a lovely girlfriend.
Okay.
Actually, we're coming up on our year anniversary, and it'll be December 30th. So yes.
You remember the day. That's a good man.
I do remember the day, and she forgot the day. I'm putting her out there. Anyway.
Oh man.
Nah, she's cool though.
So there's not a lot of brothers in CHH now who are single, non-married, and doing this thing, man. Like, what do you think about that? The implications of just being a single man. Like, has that been a struggle? Has it been a challenge?
Mm-hmm. Has it been a challenge? I mean, I don't think it's been a challenge. I mean, there was a period of time where I wasn't dating anybody, and I think since I was so motivated and focused on just doing what I felt purpose to do, kind of some of the I was almost content, you know what I mean, like just with where I was, and I was like, Lord, I'm just kind of use my time that I have now to just go in, and then kind of as I was moving forward, that's when I kind of enter into the relationship that I am now, and I think it's healthy, to kind of be at a place of contentment, before you move forward, in a relationship. But as far as going out to shows and I haven't had real big issues with that, what I mean, like being single, and if the question is kind of alluding towards temptations maybe that are there,
sure.
I haven't I don't think I've faced that like hard body. Yeah, there's probably been some instances or whatever, but it hasn't been, out of the, some left field type stuff.
Yeah,
But I know that's out there.
crazy.
I mean, I'm not ignorant to it, but I haven't personally, I think, experienced anything that's just been like, yo, chill out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna ask you a couple more questions here and let you go. Connor, I think he was looking at your fit, man. He was like, "Yo, are you a hockey fan?"
It's mad funny. I actually got this today at the thrift store for $2. I just thought it was
Wow.
dope.
Wow. Oh man, that's what you think about hockey, huh?
Yeah, so not why. I see you took it. Why you take it there? Put words in my mouth, homie. I don't know. Actually, I went to a hockey game. One of my boys took me to a hockey game. First hockey game I think I ever been to, and it was really dope because they ended up being like a tie game, and cats was fighting out there and stuff, and they went to like I guess it's overtime. I don't know what you call it in hockey, but like they did that. It was a really good game. I was like, yo, I might have to start coming out to these things more often, but I haven't since. So I just bought a hat.
Any sports that you get into or play?
I used to hoop a little bit.
You be hooping with Derek Minor?
Man, I smashed Derek. No, I'm messing.
Oh man,
no, I've never played Derek before. But actually, I think when people meet me, the first thing they'll probably talk about is my height because I'm 6'6". I know you can't tell sitting down right now, but that's the first thing I get is like, yo, you were so tall. I'm like, thank you, I know. But but yeah, I used to play basketball coming up, but honestly, I don't. I'm not as active in it anymore. I can still ball when I get out there, but I don't watch sports regularly like I used to. And I think it's just because I'm so involved with design and music and stuff like that. I hardly watch TV. I mean, I watch Netflix and stuff more than anything, but I don't really watch TV that often and keep up with stuff. But
yo, actually, I was gonna wrap up there, but Andrew Childress on Rapzilla asked a really good question. What are some main disciplines?
Hold on. Andrew, he's the one who tweeted the Derek tweet to me about the graphic design thing, so I know him. What's up, y'all?
Wow. Okay. Shout out to Andrew. What up, brother? Okay, here, Andrew. He asked, what are some main disciplines you stuck to become the artist, or you stuck to become the artist that you are today?
Main disciplines that I stuck with. I think it's I've always just been so. It almost doesn't even seem like a discipline. I guess it is. Like I've been so passionate about what I do creatively. I'm always involved with it. I'm always creating on one level or the other. And so I think just being immersed in what I do and just loving what I do so much has just provided enough motivation for me to just grow in what I do. I think the people who do the best work, quote unquote, they're just heavily involved in what they do, and they just practice and practice and practice, and a lot of this stuff has come from that. Like I've been designing. Actually, I think I started. It was like 16, 17 is when I really started. Doing it with a bit more traction, and since then I've just been, just staying active in it. So I guess that's just a discipline, just practicing your craft, even musically and stuff like that. I try to challenge myself and do things differently. Like the one project I was talking about that was just kind of like a collage of different songs. I was really birthed out of let me just try something different. Let me just try some different writing styles. Like and even now it's like like when I write, like I don't write down anymore. Like I write in my head. All my verses and kind of recite them and stuff like that. So that was a way for me to kind of be a little bit more productive and creative, because like sometimes when I'm driving, I can just kind of recite and write in my head as I'm going. So it's just doing different things to kind of keep building up who you are. But I think even more so now I'm learning at this place that I'm at, that discipline in itself is just it's almost like coveted for me now. It's like I just want to learn how to continue to just be even more disciplined than I already am. The people who know me, they know I'm pretty disciplined. I'm pretty, motivated and structured. But you can always see areas where you can sharpen in. And so going where I'm anticipating to go, I just see the level of commitment that these cats put out. Like Lecrae is one of the cats who really do encourage me because I see his grind. And I was just like, wow, these are some hard working cats, and Andy and all them. So yeah, that's one of those things I aspire to keep doing.
Oh, okay. One final question, because we got a couple of people who hopped on and asked this.
Okay.
Collaborations, future collaborations. Anybody you're eager to collab with? Some people mentioned KB or Kristen Gray, people like that. Like anybody you're like, man, and we don't have to just limit it to CHH. I mean, just anybody who like, man, I really love to collaborate with them.
Shoot, man. Well, it's funny. Christian Grey is kind of one of them. That's popular. I love Christian Gray's style because he does the singing and he does the rapping like almost equally well. Like he's a great artist. I know I've been wanting to work with and I'm already kind of talking with her. Mars Music. She's really cool. I love her style. I would love to do something with Social Club. They're actually down here. They're in my neck of the woods. I just like the guys and what they got going on. I've actually done a couple of shows with them, but yeah, who else?
Anybody outside of CHH?
Trying to think outside of CHH. I don't know if anybody I actually want to collab with. I would probably like to be around and see some cats. Maybe just how their writing style, just how they do their thing. Because I love artists like Childish Gambino, Kid Cudi, Travis McCoy, Mr. J. Medeiros. I really like his stuff. Like some of these cats, they're just very diverse, and I feel like they run their lane. You know what I mean? They just do them. I would just kind of love to be around them, just to kind of, just pick their brain and just see what their creative process is like, and that kind of stuff. But hopefully I get a chance to, connect on that level with some of these guys one day.
Okay. So I was gonna ask you to freestyle, and like you can still do that, but I mean,
I can spit something if you want.
Do you beatbox or everybody freestyles, man? Like do you beatbox or something?
Right.
Something else, man.
I don't beatbox. But throw on a beat.
Hey man, hit us with a freestyle.
I do play the bass a little bit though. That's a fun fact.
Oh, word? Okay.
Yeah,
next time, on that next live chat, we're going to get you to do a bass solo.
Slap bass on this joint.
All right, man. Hit us with a verse, man. Hit us with a 16.
All right, spit something. Y'all, check it. My rap name is Dyslexic. I'm Deraj, flipped it, did it for God. Yo, Steve told me I was doing a good job, said I did it for the critics, even when it was odd. Check it. So if you happen to look, we got answers to odd problems in the back of the book. I know it's backwards. We chilling in the castle with crooks because these rhymes is like bait. That's why I rap with a hook. Ha. Yeah. So we giving them hot bars. Yo, I promise it's easy. It's not hard. Yo, this yellow brick road is so far. God, Dorothy, this home is not ours. Wait. I think I said it wrong. I mean, God, I adore thee, and this home is not ours. Yeah, hey, yo, that sound much better. God and hip-hop sound good together.
Dope, okay. Man, with the crazy wordplay. All right, we see you. Man. We see you. Oh, man, we eager for Mirrors of Medicine. How can people keep up with you, man? Social media, website, everything. How they going to keep up with you?
Yeah, man. Everything is pretty much just Deraj, and that's not just Deraj. It's JUSTDERAJ. That's my Twitter, Instagram. Facebook is actually Deraj Music. My SoundCloud is just Deraj. My website is justderaj.com. So everything kind of follows that trend. And yeah, anybody's looking to bring me out to a show or something, hit up flexionmusicgroup.com. There's a booking form on there, so definitely open to that. But yeah, man, I just want to say, man, like I don't know how much time we got, but just very thankful and appreciative of just how everybody just kind of embraced me. Just in these last couple of days, and even people just been in my corner, kind of from day one, has just helped me kind of get to this place because I'm kind of like almost seemingly coming out of nowhere. I've heard that a lot. Is like, where did this dude come from? What I mean? Like I've been working hard for a while, but I just had a lot of people that just really, it's come alongside me, what I got going on, and I'm just really appreciative of it, and especially for RMG. Them brothers have really just been in my corner and helped me get to this place, and encouraged me and helped me to see things and consider things I hadn't before. So I have a big ambitions and goals and stuff like that, and want to go as far as I possibly can and maximize on my gifts and encourage people along the way. So,
Dope, man. That's
my
awesome. We're glad to have you, man. We're glad to have you sharing your art and your gifts and your creativity, your eclectic music with us. And Mirrors of Medicine, guys, coming out early 2014, first quarter. We're really excited about that from Just Deraj Just Deraj on Instagram, Twitter, and Deraj Music on Facebook. Follow him, check him out. Also, check out that No Fear promo. I'm not joking, man. That thing gonna mess with your head. It's gonna be like, what is going on? But it's super creative, man, and you'll be singing that little riff there for a while too, as well. So
shout
Deraj, man.
Shout out to Janelle Yvonne. She's featured on that track too. That's my homegirl. She's been riding with me for a minute, so.
Dope. Deraj, man, thank you for taking some time out here with us and to spend with Rapzilla. We really appreciate you, man. We're looking forward to what the Lord is going to do through your music and also what you're going to be able to do through your artistry, your creativity, and we're just glad to have you, man.
For sure, man. Thank you, Rapzilla, for having me and just giving me the opportunity to, just to speak and stuff. You guys are cool. So.
Dope. We think you're cool too, man. We think you're cool. So until next time, everybody, keep it locked here to Rapzilla.com. And check out all the latest news and also all the live chats that are coming up in the next few weeks. The big one's coming up, so you want to keep it locked right here to Rapzilla.com. Deraj, until next time, brother, peace.
Holla.